Welcome to Cattle Ranch. We started with a $500,000 loan and a truck, and we've turned that into a flourishing cattle operation. We've got dairy cattle, we've got our beef cattle, and over here we've got our main business of making TMR and selling it. We are a feed company at this point. We also have our side hustle of lettuce. That is our one side hustle that doesn't have anything to do with cattle. We're gonna keep that going. It's so good for us financially. But today we have 3 goals in mind. We need to figure out what to do with the milk. So we need to get it some type of dairy so we could, at minimum, bottle the milk up and get it sold. Maybe make butter, maybe make some cheese. We also need to find a solution for the beef cattle. Right now we've been selling them. We have not been turning them into meat ourselves, so that will be a goal of ours as well this time around. And the third goal I would like to look into is how to make fertilizer out of manure and slurry as another revenue stream. And those of you that are new to this series, this is kind of our farm layout right now. We have 2 grass fields on the left side and we have 2 grain fields on the other side there that we've been putting in barley or soybeans. Eventually we talked about doing silage from corn, but right now we're producing so much from these other 2 that I don't think it's actually necessary. But driving up to the silo, because we do have an opportunity to make some money off of our TMR that is stored in here. There it is. We see we have 823,000 liters of TMR right now. So the big issue is with this only holding around 20-some thousand liters, 22,000 liters here, it's gonna be a lot of trips. So one of the first things we're wanting to do is make a decent amount of money so we can buy a bigger trailer for this. I don't know if we'll go straight semi yet. We're gonna see how long it takes to make the money. It is January, so the lettuce prices should be pretty good soonish. We'll check that later on. But we were talking about upgrading equipment this season, but I also have all those goals of getting the milk production going, or the dairy production, figuring out if we can find a slaughterhouse on ModHub, on the internet, or if we're gonna have to make one ourselves. I'll be doing that in between recording sessions before we get to the end of this video. And then figuring out the fertilizer situation from the manure and slurry. And I do have some mods already installed for that. Looking forward to testing those out. But I am kind of eyeing another plot of land as well to start putting some of these productions instead of cramming them into our tiny little farmyard that we have. So hoping to make a lot of progress in today's video. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to do 1 year or 2 years. This is technically year 7. It'll switch over in March, I believe. So we've been moving through time pretty quick if you are new, and this should be part of a playlist. I'll try to remember to put the link to the playlist in the description for you guys if you want to start from the beginning and get caught up with where we are. And we've been coming over here to the animal dealer to get this stuff sold. And not going to be a super impressive amount because of how small this is, and TMR doesn't bring in a ton of money per liter. It's really one of those things that we can just produce in bulk so well that we're able to make a ton of money off of it. And yeah, we probably would make more money if we just did straight silage, but I didn't want to do that this time around. I wanted to do the top-notch feed for cattle and TMR. So that's why we went this route. And just finishing up to do this first selling opportunity here, we made about $8,500 per trip. So we're gonna get both of our tractors hooked up to this. We have another one of these gravity wagons, another Brent, and we're just gonna go in kind of cycles here, and we're gonna get a bunch of this sold to start the day. While we're doing that, we're probably getting an accident, but we'll switch to doing that a little bit off camera. And I'll check the prices of lettuce, see if we can do that as well. But we're definitely gonna look at the trailer we want. I believe it's around $90,000. It might be 99 that I was eyeing. And once we get that dollar amount that high, I think we'll get that purchased, be able to sell this a lot quicker, get caught up. I really want to get all of the TMR sold. And I believe, let's just double check right now and make sure we have the capacity we wanted for our cattle. If we look into our mixing actual production, we have 26,000 in there. And then in the silo, we can see we have 800,000 of TMR, so total mixed ration. So we'll want to make sure we have enough for our cattle so we don't run out before it's time to cut the grass again in the 2 fields, which I believe will be April. So early on, we're just going to try to make money off of all the goods we have. And we'll get to some farming, but it is just the nature of this series with the way we've broken it out and are starting in January every video. We got a lot to sell at the beginning, but we will get to a lot of farming. Be a lot of grass cutting, and we do need to get a couple fields planted. Yeah, these are both plowed state or harvested state, so we will need to take care of those eventually. But we're gonna get the the caravan going of selling the TMR, make some decent money, and we'll probably rejoin you in a little bit. And we're getting another load sold here, and I was taking a look at prices. If we look at lettuce, it is on its way up. Not quite where we need it to be yet. Well, I guess it is. But we're hopping in the truck now. We're gonna get lettuce sold, and then we can pretty instantly buy that trailer so we can just run into the lettuce. Just sell the TMR a lot more efficiently, and we'll show that when we get to it. But we don't have a complete full year's worth of lettuce because we did sell some of it throughout the year to fund a little bit last episode. Everything from that greenhouse is picked up. Let's go ahead and loop around here, and hopefully this worker can get all the way to the silo this time. Was having an issue with them of stopping right there. Looks like they're... Oh, I wonder if they're getting stuck. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. We're actually going to just shut that off since we're making money on the lettuce, and we won't have to use the international for that anymore. Just going to get it out of the way since the case is on its way back. And let's get as much as we can here. A complete load of lettuce would be nice. 54,000, and we're going to go this way directly to the farmers market. If you're new to the channel or new to the series, I do use auto loading, auto drive, and course play a lot, and we tip over a lot. Our motto here is we play the way we like to play. We don't worry about 100% realism. We don't worry about we don't worry about 100% realism. I do love auto loading. I love to play the parts of the game that I enjoy and automate the parts I don't. This is a good way to sum it up. But each one of these loads is going to be a pretty impressive number, and it's definitely gonna make us feel good when we get that new trailer. 177,000 there. Let's go get the rest of the lettuce and see how high this dollar amount gets. And then after we buy that trailer and sell a little bit more, we should be able to progress through the rest of winter a lot faster with that new trailer. And make some financial decisions too that we're gonna wanna make. So it looks like just a little bit of lettuce left here. Just gonna come over here and double check. Yeah, we got it all. And the one thing about lettuce is if we really need some money in the next month or so, we could sell the lettuce that, gets produced, since it's still super early in January, where it technically doesn't really peak according to the chart until February. So we have a little bit of time while the prices are good. We could sell some more. So let's get this done. We'll try to get the case, get its attention while it's up at the animal dealer, since that's so close to the dealership where we're getting our new trailer. But let's see what we're working with here. 220,000, pretty good start to the day if you ask me. And we were able to catch up to them before they sold here. So we will sell this load that is full, and then we'll probably... The version of the map that I'm working on doesn't have a location to resell items, so we'd have to sell it from the menu. But I don't see a point in this trailer or this gravity wagon right now after we buy the new trailer. So we'll probably sell this for a little bit of cash, just so we don't have things we don't need. So that did bring in another 8,500. We're up to 229. Let's go over to the dealership and get that new trailer. Now, first we might as well sell the Brent. We have two of them, so let's make sure we don't sell the wrong one. We're gonna want the newer one, and it's gonna give us $14,000. Not too bad. Yep, that did sell the right one. All right, now coming in here, I did look at a trailer that I was gonna go with a hugely modded one, but I think this one's gonna be plenty. We look down here, we could do grass, we could do all the things that we really need in this playthrough, except for I don't think we can unload during a harvest, which will be all right. This thing will 100% be for moving around TMR in a much better capacity. Hopefully it's a quicker unloading too, because that seems to be a little bit of the problem. And hopefully the case can handle it. I think we do have an upgrade that we could do at home at the workshop to the engine of this case to get a little bit more horsepower if we need it. Also, now that I look at the length of this, gonna have to retest some of the routes we were doing to make sure we're still able to use auto drive on it. We do a lot of automating. So let's get back. Let's, watch this in action, make sure it's working, and see how much each load of this is gonna bring in. I wasn't ready for a semi yet, and I wanna be a little bit careful, but we might have been able to spend a similar amount of money on a semi-trailer combo. but I think it would have been a lot more. All right, let's fill this thing up. I mean, this is almost 3 loads compared to the Brent, so that is a huge upgrade. Let's get this $56,000 over to the animal dealer and make some more cash. And you can see in the distance there, it is driving up the hill. We'll check on it in a minute, but we also noticed that barley is on its way down. We missed a little bit there at the end of December when I skipped time that we should have been selling the barley. So we're gonna have a couple trips here, but we're gonna start filling this up and get our 76,000 liters of barley sold. Like I said, a lot of stuff to sell at the beginning of the episode, but we will get to the farming, guys. And let's double check where the price is good for that today. We're headed to the farmers markets and double checking on our route here. I wanna make sure that this can handle all the turns with the extra trailer length. Into the facility looks good. Now, is this turn gonna be too sharp? I think this one will be fine. It's the route around here that I'm questioning. We might need to move some of our tags in auto drive or waypoints so that the tipping location of the trailer is in the trigger without hitting the waypoint. And those of you that aren't familiar with auto drive, you can see there's this little waypoint here. That's going to be the max that it goes to. And so what we're going to do is pull some of these. I'm just going to left mouse click these so I can then get this a little farther away. And then if we do like that and cycle through it, that'll work perfectly. Now we can hide all that stuff so we know it's working again. And yeah, that unloads a lot faster. That's going to help as well, and a lot more money per trip. And we're gonna have to keep an eye on this. We're gonna let this run on its own for a little bit, but 21,000 per trip. We don't want to run out of it right now. If we look at our cattle right now, TMR is pretty low on the dairy cattle, and over here they're using the meadow and they're out of water. Oh, what a failure we are. Glad we checked. So we got a lot of things to take care of. So what we're gonna do, we'll sell this little bit of barley, and then with the international, we will tend to the cattle. First thing we'll do is water. Today, I absolutely want to get them out of the old pasture that requires water and into a enclosure that has water plumbed, because that has been a problem. I keep forgetting to fill up with water, and we're probably losing reproduction phases because of that. And you can see they were chewing on some meadow, and we've been, with the 2 different areas of the cattle, I seem to be neglecting the beef a little bit. Alrighty, here's our first time selling barley today. Should be about 3 loads of this, if not 4. And that gives us 25,000 per trip. Making some money today, guys. And we can see them getting back here for another load of TMR. Perfect timing. Nice to see it. Away they go. So one of the main reasons why I want to get rid of the pasture, like I said, is because of the water. And the big issue is, well, we have a little water tank. We could upgrade it for sure. But we've been driving all the way down to this lake down here at the bottom of our property. And it's a little time consuming, especially with the little tiny tank. Definitely not going to work for milk. We're going to have to get an upgrade there. But we also need some land, I think, for that enclosure. I'd like it to be closer to the dairy cattle, but we've kind of ran out of space over there. And right here is all we got to do to fill it up, though. So it's not too terrible, just time consuming. And on the way back with 2,000 liters, and I believe it holds like 10, so we have to do about 5 trips of this just to get it all the way filled back up. All right, here we go. Now it's loading. Okay, so that was the one thing that to get them back to health, because they do have the meadow, but we do have a little bit of TMR in here, so let's get them fed. We'll get this out of the way, and then off camera, I'll do all the loops of water. Just want to get them back functional here. We do have some hay back there that we could use, but I think I'm going to throw that into the TMR mixer production. Yeah, I guess it has to tip over there. Stop for real quick. Tip side left, disappears. Tip side right. Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. We're going to go fill this up and top them off, though. And I believe we did have enough in the production itself. So let's go ahead and unload here first. 24,000. Not bad. So we'll top off the beef cattle first, and then we'll come back for the dairy cattle. And we'll see how much of this 24,000 they do use. Not much. Okay, so we did have a good amount. So now let's head back over, feed the dairy cattle, and then off camera, I will get the water all situated for the beef cattle. And while we have the feed, I am going to fill this up with a couple loads. But I think I'll start doing a little bit off camera. A lot of repetitive stuff going on right now. So we will give you an update on money when we stop selling TMR, and probably get to one of the months where we're going to start cutting grass. But if we do make any purchases like expanding our property by buying another plot of land or buying one of those productions we're talking about for our milk, we'll rejoin you there and you know, you won't miss anything. We have $232,000 and I was wanting another tractor to kind of help out. So we're going to go with this fence that we used in the Poland series. I just loved it. I want to use it again. Wheel setup. I do want to do probably wide tires. Yeah, let's do the wide tires. And then, you know, these are just cosmetic, right? Yeah, I don't really know if we care about that. Decorations. Where did that show up? Where'd the battery show up? I don't even see it. Oh, there we go. Standard. Oh, yeah. We want, I don't like the standard. We're going to go 50 bucks there. And then, I mean, that looks kind of nice. All right, we're going to go with it. We're going to buy it. And our other tractor just drove by. We're going to send this home and it's going to start working on moving around some barley. This might be a different one than I use, but I love it. I think this is sweet. Yeah, super old. This is a 1980s, I believe. Bouncy in the cab here. It looks great though. Seems to fit this series to me. The seat, the hydraulics on the seat are amazing. Look at that bounce. That's crazy. Well done. But this will allow the International to just be kind of our workhorse around feeding the cattle, you know, filling up water, doing all those jobs that we don't necessarily need it in the fields. And this one goes 10 miles an hour faster, so I'm super happy with that. All right, we got our first load of barley here that we're going to take with the fence. I'm going to get these done, get some more TMR sold, because I did notice we are at capacity of milk in the cattle enclosures, so we were going to need to solve that first. $361,000. Let's see how it happened. And we did have $197,000 in products sold, which I believe was the lettuce, and $300,000 in the harvest income. We have spent, you know, $155,000 on a new vehicle and a new trailer. Pretty impressive day today. We're not done spending. Now this one's gonna seem a little strange, but we are gonna purchase Farmland 13. And I wanna do the same trick that I've kind of done before. I wanna see our boundary. So I'm gonna grab the cultivator. We need to get organized. This is embarrassing. Grab the cultivator over here. We're gonna go out there and we're going to temporarily, they're not gonna stay there this time. I just wanna kind of see so we know exactly where our boundary is for when we start building. This is going to be a production area. We're going to have some factories out here and somewhat industrial looking area long term. And the reason I went that far is because of the longer term plans of how I want to expand the grass field, which at this rate, we might get to in today's video, but we'll see. I did notice that the grass was close to being ready to be cut. And we might actually do that in February and risk, you know, it's only at stage 3 out of 4 instead of the full growth stage, but I'm tempted to cut it now and get 3 more cuts this year, even if the 4th cut out of the total is another 3 out of 4. Is it a wash? I don't think that's a complete wash. I'm going to think, what is happening right now? Lift that. I'm going to think through that a little bit before, and I'm going to do the math again. I'm going to try to do the math again and see if we can get a 4th cut, and if we can get 3 full cuts and a partial cut this year, that would be cool. This is quite a drive, but it is pretty close to, well, one of the sales locations and farther away from the other one. A lot of land that we're driving in right now that we're not going to use right away, but you'll see in a moment what my thoughts are. All right, so we've gone past our field here. Gonna turn around, and I kind of want to just do it this way. We're just gonna go real slow. Once that disappears, we'll know where we are. All right, there it is. I did turn on enable fields for a second. So that is there. So if all goes as planned and we make it there long term, this is going to be an expanded area with large productions. So let's grab the starter set of what we want though. We want these fertilizing plants. This one takes manure. Oh, this one takes both manure and slurry. This one is manure only for, okay, so this is a $55,000 one. This one is a smaller one that I think we want to start, well, 1 or 2. I think we save some money here, and we learn if this one ends up being good enough for us, or if we're gonna have to like double these or find, there are bigger ones here. They're a lot more expensive, but they're 175,000. And then we could, yeah, if we really wanted to, we're gonna add a sales location for this stuff eventually. So we are gonna go with this $50,000 one to start with. Let's turn on snapping and see, yeah, that lines up good with the road there. Yeah, so this is funny. This is where I complain about the overlapping objects. There's nothing there. Like, we haven't played here. We haven't done anything. Okay, let's find somewhere though that will work. A little bit off the road. We'll go right there. Okay, then we're gonna make this look a little bit better. All right. There's one down. And the next thing we needed was for the dairy. So this will do slurry and manure, right? Let's learn real quick. So on our new fertilizer plant, our inputs can be manure, slurry, or digestate. And the outputs here are 500 to 100. Okay, I like this. Doesn't seem overpowering. This seems pretty good. And 100,000 at a time, an output of 60. Okay, now we need our dairy. We have the multi-dairy production here, which I want to put on this side. And I want to just kind of get us used to working out here for when we do expand this into bigger productions. And let's see, the input on that is going to be our milk. And then we'll probably start with just bottled milk, cheese, and butter. I've had this debate in the past with myself. Butter is 3,600 it peaks at. Cheese is 6,000, and bottled milk is gonna be 1,800. So let's look at the recipes here. Cheese was the one. That's a pretty good ratio. Butter is pretty good as well, where bottled milk is even. So with those ratios, this is actually like 2,800 per 1,000 milk input for bottled milk, and cheese is 5,500. So that's the winner so far. And then butter is like 3,300. So what I did was I took the ratio here, and so it's a 1.5 ratio. So for every 1,000 that we put in, we're going to get 1,500 out, or every 2,000 that we put in, we're going to get 3,000 out. And so that's how I did the calculations. And then, you know, got the ratio here, which was like 0.92. And then on the butter one, it was like just under 0.92. So that's what we did. So I think we will be focusing on cheese once we get some milk over here. So not the biggest productions, but I feel like I spent less than I planned on spending because we went with one for the fertilizer instead of multiples. And we'll do a little detailing session when this stuff gets a little more formalized out here. Oh, and I didn't really show you guys, we still have about 200,000 TMR. So we didn't even use it all. We just kind of went until we got to the budget that I was looking for, which was around $350,000. I did some calculations before we started, and we're close. We got, you know, three items to buy here. We're going to buy something for moving milk around, something for moving manure around, and then something for moving slurry. But before we buy something for manure, you guys are impressed I didn't hit a tree, aren't you? You can admit it. It's okay. We're going to see if our new trailer actually can do manure. Though I wanted to get the milk going because they are kind of at a standstill right now. I thought I remember seeing that when we bought it, which would be pretty awesome. Now, the thing we're going to find out with the fertilizer production is, well, we're going to start getting more when we move the beef cattle and when we start expanding on the cattle operation, which I do want to do eventually. Are we going to, well, I was going to say we're going to get more when we're going to learn from the fertilizer. I know what I was going to say. The fertilizer production is, do we need a bigger production, a bigger facility? Let's double check in the menu. Oh, nope. It was wood chips. I saw a different icon. Oh, it was worth checking. All right, well, the loud tractor is here. We got this one here as well. We're with the Internationals on the way. We're gonna buy all three of them and bring them home with us right now, if we can afford it. So we'll go cheap on a few things here, as cheap as we can. Slurry spreader, 3,100, and we can I hope we can put it in this and then empty it at that production. 31,000, sorry. We need more money. We're gonna need more money. All right, we're gonna do milk first. We're gonna hold off on manure for now. But we are going to spend 25,000 on this. Okay. We want to, I think we leave it as is. Oh, man. And then just turned around the corner. We just missed it. There it is. Okay, so for manure, I think I don't think I added the manure spreader in my cost, my budget. I mean, that's just not really going to work, is it? I mean, that's going to be so many trips. I think you have to at least go with the Brantner just to start. Okay, so what we're going to do is these ones are going to go, well, this one's going to go home. And the Fent. All right, that one is off on its way. And that one's on its way as well with the milk tanker. And we're going to go get set back up on the new trailer, the TMR trailer, so we can get the manure spreader we need. And we're going to help them out here, maybe. I think I might have a better way to help them out. There. All's good. I don't know what route she's taking, but hopefully we'll see her at some point. Oh, where are we? There's a bridge? It's nowhere. And then you're supposed to turn. You're trying to leave. I'm not letting you leave. You can't leave. You need to go that way. What are you thinking? That was weird. All right, well, this is the first one here. Well, we got the... Yeah, we got the case back there doing its job, making us that money. We need about 30 more thousand. We're gonna go get our first load of milk though. A little history here in Cattle Ranch 25. Brace your ears, this tractor is loud. 8,000 liters at a time. And you're stuck on nothing. There we go. All right, let's get this delivered up north at the facility there. And we should be able to get that production up and running, and hopefully the international will be here soon so we can get some slurry moved. Breaking ground of some new businesses. I love it. Revenue streams, I guess I should say. 2 lonely buildings out here. They won't be for long. All right, as the milk is getting deposited there, we're going to hop over here and learn a little bit, maybe. Maybe. Where do we go? Do we open this? I do. This is cool. I mean, that's pretty cool. Activate cheese. Exciting. Storing. So we will have to take that and probably need to find a storage solution for our lettuce and other pallets at this point. Okay. So we just need to do like a bunch of trips of that, but we're going to get the slurry production going first and waiting for our money to increase as well. See you in a little bit. All right, 1 down, 1 to go here. And we did get 1 selling, lots of ones, of the TMR this time around. And we're using another 100,000, so I think I am going to elect to go with that early cutting in February because I'm a little worried about feed for our existing herd here. So, all right, let's fill this up. 134,000. The Fent is struggling going up the hill there. We're going to follow them. Oh, they're taking that turn around there. Okay. I was wondering what they were doing. We don't have a road established to go straight out there yet. Because I think this one would be, well, that might. I'm going to try this route. We'll scout it. We'll scout this route out and see how it looks. It does go quite... It's going to kick to the right big time and go out of the way. Not too terrible. The Fent is going to the same place, and they're backtracking. So we'll see. Well, it seems way faster, so I'm not sure. We'll have to double check what they're doing on that. Yeah, I see them over there. Yeah, this was a lot quicker. So let's get this going. We'll get the slurry production up and running, and momentarily, I guess sunset's about here. Well, we're going to get some more money in there so we can buy the manure one. So making pretty decent time here. And while that's emptying, we'll get this production up and running. So we're going to want slurry activated here to create solid fertilizer. Beautiful. And just getting back to the property, I see the dollar amount going up. So I think what we have left here, we're down to 88,000. Yeah, we got to cut tomorrow. We've got to cut tomorrow, and most of it's got to stay here. So we're done spending money for a while. Time to just get busy, get to work, but we do need to get the manure going before we make it February here. So I'm going to drop this off here, and we're going to intercept the case. I think even though it is already late, I am going to drop this off at home so we don't have to worry about where it's at later on and forget where it is. Almost enough money to buy the $67,000 one. We are going to go with this 31.5 because the capacity is a little bit bigger. And basically it's just to transport it, right? We're not actually using it for a spreader. Okay, let's see how simple this is. Got our third load of milk going in. But now I should just be able to... Yes, okay. In a small amount. Only 9,000 per trip. It's really just our donkey or our FedEx driver at this point. Can't unload it. What if I just turn it on here? What did that do? That's funny. Did it go in here? It didn't go in there. All right, well, we just needed a regular trailer. Okay, we get $26,000 back. Oh my goodness. That works. We did do the budget right to begin with. All right, let's get this over there, get it going, and then we'll make it morning. And it does work. But I don't know if you'd really want your manure being dumped that close to where your cheese is, or your milk is dumped. We almost have a thing of cheese already. Okay, this production, it's interesting already. Okay, so this one, we got distracted. We got to go in here. We're going to activate that. And that should be double dipping into creating some fertilizer for us now. And then over here, we're just moments away. The moment is now. Our first thing of cheese. Very nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a facility that's gonna be air conditioned for that. But I'm going to do some busy work here with our tractors and see you in the morning. All right, this is just fun. We got all three of these doing their jobs. Up front, we have the International doing the manure. We have the Fent in the middle doing slurry, and the Case back here doing milk. I want to see that they're all going to the same building, right? They're doing jobs. And slurry's pulling off here, going to be in the way for milk. But then milk now has the clear while the International goes to the back for manure. Daylight would have been so much better for this. But we're going to see who gets done first and who leaves first. International was in the lead, but now the milk is going to have a different route. They're going to go up north and flip around. And so they're going, well, it's going to be close. The International did get out in front of the fence. I have a feeling we're going to have a little bit of an intersection here. But the Case is trying to take over first place, but I think it's going to stay in the same order it was. The Fent is having trouble climbing the hill, so they might end up in the back as the Case jumps into second place. Now, it'll be interesting to see if that was enough time being in second to allow the Case the next rotation to win and take the lead. But manure's done, so we're gonna stop the manure after this one. I just thought that was fun to watch that unfold. And let's look at the productions. So we do have a bunch of manure in here. Slurry's getting over there a little slower. The Fent is doing that right now. And then on the dairy, we do have 45,000 liters of milk. And if we look at our cows, we still have another, only 4,000. So one more trip there as well. But then the slurry is going to take a while. So the slurry is going to be running in the background for a while before it gets caught up. But I think the size of trailers we have is fine for now until we expand to another barn that produces all of this stuff. So now we'll see you in the morning. And we finally made it to February. We've got to get going on cutting some grass. We got some of the last minute chores going on here, or top of the morning chores. How we need to start our day off. We should have the Fent right behind us. Yep, still doing a slurry job. So we're gonna go feed the beef cattle first. I wanna top them off, you know, just in case. And then the Case, speaking of Case, is doing its last load of milk, or its first load of milk in February. So we'll let that sit now. Once we get back from getting our daily chores going, we'll start getting the grass cut and start making some more TMR, because I think counting or not counting this, we had about 88,000 left, and I don't know how long that's going to last us. So a little bit of a panic here, but we were already debating cutting it already and then letting it get to that first growth stage once the official growth year starts again here. I think it'll be good. All right, getting some TMR up here for the beef cattle. We definitely want to kind of switch priorities and get them a building and enclosure next. That's a little easier to take care of them. And then the slaughterhouse after that. Was wanting to upgrade a little bit more equipment this time around, but that might get sidelined. Okay, pulling to the end here because we are going to do a little switcheroo here in a second. We're just going to go ahead and let them take as much as that as they can, and it might be all of it. Nope, a little bit left over, not bad. So maybe the panic wasn't necessary. All right, we're going to hop in here. They have no milk to pick up, so we are going to get them to work. There's the Fent busting through, getting that slurry delivered for us. And for the first time in today's episode, we're doing a little bit of farm work here. Getting the lawn cut. And this big field here, we're going to do first, and then we'll probably get down to the second one. If not in February, we'll get to it in March. No rush right now to get things done. Just get what we need to get done here. Pretty nice. Let's get it done. Super productive February so far. It's 10:30. We got both the fields cut. We got one already picked up. The second one is about halfway done. Ton of slurry's been being moved around. We're gonna get the roller set up next. I'm gonna roll the field to my left and then the field to the right. And then we're gonna get to dancing around. We got to start getting the TMR moved around. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. So right now in the fermenting silo, we have, it was like 150. I think it was a little more than 150. Already produced about 24,000 liters, 25,000, well, 12,000 of each. And then over at the TMR mixer, it's automatically distributing it over here. And we've already produced 5,888 today. Over at the dairy, we do have 8,000 cheese already and 3,000 more that hasn't spawned, so 11,000 total. And we do have 6,800 liters of salt fertilizer. It's going to be awesome to just be able to use that ourselves when the time comes. Well, in March, when we get oats in the ground. All right, we are going to do 3 headlands here. And get that all prepped. And away we go. Get this extra layer. Well, we need to check something. Let's see. Do not need lime. Okay. Was a little worried about that. Wanted to make sure since we did cut it. I have a feeling it's going to be later this year. We will have to put a lime back down on these. Getting this extra application of fertilizer down, and then it should start growing in March. But I think its first growth phase increase will be April. So we could have done this in March, but that's why I wanted to do it in February so I could double check that. I want to see if there is a difference overnight here, because I couldn't remember, to be honest. But I think this will be good. We'll get that extra cut at the end of the year still. I believe in November is the last growth stage we could get. And if we're too busy in November, we could always cut it in December. But really starting to push the finances, and I'm also going to start trying to push it to where we keep growing to where the productions are always active. So if we don't have enough milk to always feed the dairy, we need to get more cows for that, etc., right? If we don't have enough manure and everything to feed the fertilizer business, if we don't have enough grass to feed the fermenter, and then enough of the fermenter products of the hay and the silage to feed the TMR mixer, we want everything constantly running. So I'll be taking a look at that and paying attention to which ones take a break. And I do know, because of how quick the TMR mixer is, it seems like no matter what, we're eventually going to want to take breaks on that one. So that might be more of a try to maximize silo space or something. I don't know. But I think that's enough rambling for now. I'm going to focus on this, and I believe that means they're done. Yeah, they picked up the grass. So once I'm done with this field, I can get on that one right away. And we can get pretty quickly to March here. Pretty awesome. Well, with the rolling done and everything else around the farm, I do have the spreader here. We're going to buy some lime. We have the one field that needs to be taken care of with lime. You can see here it is our northernmost field, and we're going to get that rolling. And then in March we can plant oats, and we can also plant, well, soybeans would be in April, but I think we're going to go with corn this time around. So that would be in April as well. So looking at the fields here, we did soybeans up here last time. We did wheat or barley, I can't remember. And so we are going to flip that. We'll do the corn in the bottom field and the oats up top this time around. But let's get, what's the capacity of this? Let's double check that. The extension, it's 11,000. We have less than 1,000. Let's buy 10. We'll buy 10,000 for now. I don't think it's going to be enough, but definitely want to make sure we're not buying things we don't need. So we'll do it, you know, a little bit at a time. And kind of thinking through things here, it might be time after this year to start doing the plans that I have for expanding and connecting these two into one field that extends like just large. It is definitely in the plan. So one of the next things, you know, trying to balance equipment increasing, like improving our equipment would be nice. Gosh, once we expand the grass fields, we're going to want multiple tractors that can do the cutting. I'm tempted to get the big Krone mower, but I just don't feel like that really benefits us as much as it would buying another tractor and a setup like we have, and just have two of those, and then potentially having two pickups as well. Kind of similar that I've done on other series with the two harvesters. So things we're thinking about as we expand and the yield and the output from the fields gets even greater. I think it's definitely something we need to think about. And just kind of at this point is balancing buying the equipment versus buying the land, because we know we're gonna bring in a decent amount of money here moving forward. So less stress about that and more stress about making the right decisions on what helps us bring in even more money quicker. I like the idea of us being able to do jobs faster, and then we can burn through years a lot quicker the faster we can do jobs. So kind of just balancing that out in this survival series here. No loans, no leasing equipment. Just kind of remind you guys, it's been a while since we really talked about the rules of this series. That initial loan we started with was just a starter, and we're locked out of financing after that. So I think we're good though. I think we're at a point where financing would only just speed things up, you know, if we wanted to expand quicker by taking out loans or get that better equipment quicker. That's all it would do for us. It's not necessarily a necessity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I think we are going to buy some more, or need to, but I'm going to try to finish this without, and we'll find out momentarily. As the field got shorter here, it looks like we did have enough. You know, a lot quicker passes here, not as much lime being needed for each pass. So it was a little misleading there a minute ago. Thought we were going to run out, but we didn't, and we never moved the water tank here. Just avoided it. Oh, nope, we didn't avoid it. Now it's on its side. All right, I think, you know, we still have some daylight, so I might get the mulcher out. We'll start doing, well, the field we're going to plant first is the one we just limed, so we will prioritize that, and then potentially finish that field mulching tonight. In the morning in March, we'll get a worker to help us mulch this field while we have to remember is if our cedar needs cultivation as well. So let's get the spreader put away and just kind of remind myself of that, figure out our plans to get through planting season. All right, get that backed up nice there. Oh, we're getting so much better at that. So happy. And I do want to double check our milk and slurry and manure. I think slurry right now is full at the production, and we still have 20,000 here, so we can let that sit for a while. Manure is at 5,700, so I think we'll let that accumulate a little bit more before we send more over to the production. And then the same here for milk. We have 1,500, so yeah, it's a good time to just kind of let that sit. Feed-wise, they're good here. I think they had about 8,000 at the beef cattle had about 8,000 food, so I think before I sleep, I'm gonna top them off so that they can get through the night without any worries. But let's head back up to that field and get the mulching going. And away we go. And for seeders, we do have the Great Plains. Let's take a look at that. Just kind of remind ourselves what we're working with. Great Plains does require cultivation, so we'll get this done tonight. And then in the morning, what we'll do is we'll start with cultivation here and probably start working on planting right behind them just to be super efficient. And then we'll get the mulching going on the bottom field. But I'm kind of excited to see how the slurry, manure, and all that, and the milk produces overnight, to see how often we need to have our workers running their routes to keep the fertilization production up and running and the dairy production there. So we'll go to the dairy here before the night's over and figure out a plan. We have $39,000. I'm hoping I can find a shed that I can get installed that has like a refrigerator type feature to allow us to put the cheese in there, because we want to keep that cold before it's time to sell it. And another product we're selling, so we got to get used to the time of year when that happens. Cheese, we can see it looks like October. So if we come over here, let's see. Yeah, we got time. Cheese does fluctuate a decent amount. Right now, it's actually at a pretty good price. So that might be a little misleading on time-saving stock check there. Kind of tempted to sell what we have because it's about to drop dramatically for a while. So we could get some cash in here to help us with some of those expansion decisions. I think that's the plan. We're going to get going on this, and I might finish the headlands myself and then switch over to working on figuring out what we want to do with the cheese. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. All right, the headlands are done now. We should be able to just hand this on over to a worker to help finish getting it all prepped here and mulched. Let's do that. So we'll come here and should just be able to do that. And then I'm going to run down and grab another tractor. Actually, we're just going to grab the truck and we're going to get those cheese going. We do need to think about moving the TMR from the production into the silo so that it can keep producing once it gets to 100,000, which is probably pretty quick. Last I checked, it was already at 77. So we don't want that production to stall out, so we'll have to get that process going. But I think there's going to be a ton of cheese. I think this production is doing pretty good for us. There's 8 there. I wonder how many more. That's pretty quick production here. And if we look over here, we still have 46,000 liters of milk to go through. So yeah, this production working beautifully. We got 6 more cheese that are about to spawn here too. There we go. So we have 14,000 already. And depending on how prices look, we might end up selling it pretty often, bringing a pretty penny every once in a while here to help us continue to expand. And we do have in the summer the soybeans to sell, so that would be an option. But I'm trying to figure out a way to make enough money to buy well, I want to make enough money to buy a slaughterhouse and also buy a new enclosure for the cattle that we talked about so we can get them out of the pasture. That's just not working for us with the feed capacity. I'd like to be able to go multiple months without having to feed them and be able to get a good balance going on knowing how much TMR we need to save versus, you know, how much we need to sell. Because I would love to start increasing the head count of the herd that we have here. $84,000 in cheese there. That's pretty glorious. In what, about less than a month or about a month worth of production? It's pretty solid. But at that point, when we get the slaughterhouse, we're going to also have to think about transportation of our cattle. We're going to have a way to move them around. I just want to kind of see, I don't know if we have enough money yet, but I want to see if we have the capacity or the space for this production that we're going to want to add. Haven't tested it out, so it should be in here though. There is the slaughterhouse, 179. And it looks like we're gonna have enough space. All right, we do know now that we have enough space, but we're also gonna wanna look at, and I'm probably gonna use the same one just because I love the look of it. But potentially I was hoping to buy more land out here so we could get this plot back here and start building a little bit of road access and maybe having multiple of these out here and just going big, guys. Going big. See how the mulching's going? Did they do a third headland? Not sure what they're doing, but we're gonna let them continue. And I think what we're gonna do, kind of thinking here, no, they're just redoing what we already did, I think. It's unfortunate. See if there's anything else we can do. I think I do know something we can do, though. Let's go ahead and do this. And that's, uh-oh, let's catch that. I forgot this one doesn't stay still very good. Let's find a flat spot to put it. Then we're gonna grab the feed mixer, and we are going to top off the cattle up north, the beef cattle. Just snuck by the milk trailer there. All right, let's fill this up. We'll head up there, get it topped off. Oh yeah, it did top. Okay, so that's good. So when we get back, we'll probably want to move over everything it's produced as well to the silo. And we can do that a little bit quicker with our new trailer. And have that keep producing. Alrighty, we've made it. And what we can do is top this off right now. And I think I want to figure out how much they're using per hour and kind of start doing those calculations because I think we need it. So I'm going to hang out here for an hour and see how the food adjusts. And I'm going to actually make notes on both of them. All right, we should be able to get our calculation here now. And we'll do another hour just to check. So that was 317, which would be 7,600 a day. Okay. This one we're waiting. They did reproduce. So the next time they reproduce, we're going to, well, we might move them to the slaughterhouse if we get that purchased in time. But you can see we don't have, like, we need more. We need more. So I do want that other barn enclosure so we can get a lot more beef cattle. Excuse me, a lot more beef cattle, a lot more dairy cattle as well. Let's see how the other one's doing now. And our dairy cattle, they are burning through 12,912 per day right now. So looking good. Just got to wait this out. And I'm tempted to kind of just move forward months wise so we can get to March and start multitasking here. So we're going to grab the international and get the cultivator going. And I'm going to do the cultivation right behind them. And then we can just plant in the morning and start mulching on the bottom field and potentially get to the cultivation on that as well in March. All right, I'm gonna have them get started, and then we're going to grab this tractor. We're gonna start moving around the TMR. We're gonna get that going on a worker, get them going on that loop that we've set up. And I'm kind of regretting this tractor, so it might be short-lived or just a workhorse for us in the background. We might adjust it to not being, I think we picked the engine that's the loudest. I was kind of looking at the configuration options. This is definitely, I don't think this is the same tractor I used in Poland. I think I'm mistaken. But it could be, I don't know. It should have enough horsepower to do this. But we'll see. So what we want to do is the pickup and delivery. We want to pick up from the TMR mixer, which we named TMR production, and we want to drop off at the multi-silo, and we're picking up total mix ration. All right, we'll let them get going on that, and they should be able to. Well, we'll hope that the size of the trailer doesn't mess up the existing route we had, and then that means we can come over here and take over. 3 headlands might be overkill. I think I want to configure that for 2 so we don't run into the existing work going on. Man, productive 2 months so far. Being very exciting to see how much money we're starting to make, see how much quicker we can start expanding. Overnight, we got the mulching done over here. We're getting the cultivating going here in the morning. The top field is ready for oats. Over here, we have moved all of the TMR from the last cutting session. We have 309,000. I am going to get them selling this. So we are going to adjust their course. We need to pick up from the multi-silo and sell at animal dealer, and we're gonna keep an eye on that because I'm gonna keep like 100,000 just to keep us safe. Also, just to, while lettuce is still at a good price, we are gonna sell everything right now because I want to get the butcher shop going. Let's make sure there's not more lettuce that's about to spawn here. We're good there. Good. We could wait for one more, but I think we're all right. This is gonna be a decent amount of cash. And a decent amount of cash from the TMR that's going to get slowly sold throughout the day. We're going to keep an eye on that. If I don't, we're going to make a big mistake. I do want to check the state of these fields. see if they are going to be ready for harvesting like we think in June or in May, or is it going to be June? So once we get back, we'll double check that before we get started on the oat planting. I also want to make sure the feed is okay with the beef cattle, because that's going to be the next thing. I want to get this butcher shop going, and then the next thing I want to buy after that is probably a new truck, but you know, the damage from that wreck. But we want to get a new barn going for our cattle. I want to get the beef cattle all moved to it and probably buy more. Feeling aggressive, expansion wise. So 163,000 right now. I think it was 175 to buy that, but let's take a look. We're gonna need something to move them animals. If we started here, we could get 6 cows at a time, so $25,000. I think that's probably what we'll go with. Now let's remind ourselves on the production here. The slaughterhouse is what it's called, right? Not enough money, 179. All right, so a couple loads of TMR and we'll be able to do this. And let's look at time-saving stock check for cheese right now. We have another 61,000 and the prices are above peak. Let's sell that too. We know we're going to the farmer's market, so we can grab this lettuce that already spawned. All right, we're making money quick, guys. This is exciting. I mean, we are in year 7, so we knew this was going to happen eventually in cattle ranch. It happens, you know, it happened in 22. It's happening now. Start to move a lot faster financially, be able to get to that end game that I'm looking for in this build. That's really going to escalate for us now. And another 2 here. So we have, let's get that menu out of the way. 10,000 cheese and 1,000 lettuce that we're about to sell. I did want to take a look here, see how we're doing. Milk, we'll probably want to start heading over here soon. Over here, we're good. We could get more slurry over here and more manure, but we have 15,000 in solid fertilizer. We're going to let that build up. Our cap here is 60,000 before we have to figure out if we're going to sell it or if we're going to burn through that much. We should never have to buy fertilizer again, though. It's going to be a jam-packed episode for you guys. This is awesome. All right, more selling. I love it. Making more money. There's another 62,000. So we're at 226. We'll get some TMR sold. I think what I'm going to do is get the oats planted, get rolling going. We need to get weeding going, and potentially it might be time to get a bigger weeder. But we'll look at that when we get to that phase. And as money keeps rolling in, we do know we have enough for the slaughterhouse and the trailer at this point. So everything else will be towards some upgrades of equipment soon and starting to save up for that new cattle enclosure. Oh, are you not going to be able to do this? I think we might solve this right now while we have the cash. I think this is more important. I'm going to go ahead and struggle getting this there myself. And we're going to swap this out for a different tractor. We've got to do it. And we're not even taking that with us. Yeah, let's go sell this, see where money's sitting, and then we'll go from there. Oh, we can't even sell it there. Let's just sell it here. Might as well not waste the time driving. Playing on an older version of the map, there is no sales location. So we're going to get 44,000 back from that. That was a cheaper one. Let's see if there's anything used right now. Oh. What in the world is this for 41,000? What does this go as for new? What mod do I have there? Oh, apparently I have this older version of it. I mean, I don't know if we can pass on that. I do want to change the... I don't like the black. I want to go back to red. If we do, as much of a good deal as... Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's look at other options right now for a medium tractor. Like, this is something I was eyeing. Upgrading that to 223 gives us a lot of speed and torque. But that's for 223,000. I mean, would this 7810 be enough for that? For 68? I think that's what I want to try. Let's try this. I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to think about that case, but we'll see if this can handle pulling that. And this is going to pretty much, well, the difference there was like 20-some thousand. We spent more money to get this than that case, but honestly, it looks a little cartoony. I'm not sure if I would really enjoy it. I was tempted to buy it and see what it looks like actually in game. And we still might swap out the International for that. But I kind of want to keep the International as like a decorative piece. What would that be worth if we sold it? 8,000. So I don't know if that's even worth selling. Yeah, get a little John Deere on the farm. Start mixing this farm up. I don't necessarily want to go all case on this one. As we've noticed, we did have the fence, but I think this has gotta be better, right? It still might not be enough tractor for this trailer. And we'll find out here soon. And they're turning around, so I mean, going slow that way. This is a decent incline. They're doing better than the other one. And if this is just a workhorse in the background, do we really care that they're only going 9? We're not really long term. All right, let's let them do their thing. This one's working pretty good. We're going to get a course set up here and do some planting ourselves. Huge upgrade that I'm looking for is going to be a seeder too. But really, if you're noticing, we are going towards upgrades that are going to make us more money first. And then I'm going to start switching to the upgrades that are going to allow us to start moving through jobs quicker. If that makes any sense. I think that does. Let's get these oats in the ground. And then we will probably get that slaughterhouse going here after planting. And we're just finishing up. We have 23 liters of seed left. That was amazing for that field. We'll take it. Let's get this in. We're going to get the rolling going, and I think I've kind of thought through. The slaughterhouse might be premature. I think we need to get that enclosure first and more beef cattle. That's the plan, and we need to get this little spot that they missed cultivating too. But they did a good job, and I am a little freaked out right now that I haven't been paying attention to... Oh, good. I think they got stuck over here. I was gonna say, I think we sold too much TMR, but they are not able to reach their destination here. Oh, because this is set to grass. Okay, that is all. That'll do it. Okay, so we'll let them keep going, and we are gonna get this on the rolling. A roller is one of the things we won't need to upgrade ever. I'm just gonna put this here because we need another shed. So many things we need. I might spend time between March and April getting organized over here too, though. You know, we might have enough room. I know we need at least probably a good pole barn or something. But I'm going to put this on a worker because I think we are going to kind of look at our land and figure out where we want to get another one of these buildings. We're going to have repeated buildings, but I like them. I think they look pretty slick. All right, rolling's going good. You can see a little difference here in the sky. Oh, do we have enough space right here? Let's look at the map. Let's remember where our boundaries are there. Well, we have this little area. I don't know if that would be a good spot. Where are we at? Let's get acquainted here. If we snuck one in right there, doesn't necessarily align with what I want to do long term. Land not owned by you, overlapping. Yeah, so it's just going to be a little too big, and there'd be a ton of terraforming that would be needed there. No way, does this fit right here? A lot of terraforming needing there too. If we went that way with it, yeah, I think we'd want to go this way. Pull it off the field. Let's get snapping on. And yeah, what? There's no objects. This game's crazy. Let's go over there. This game's crazy, man. Got a weed here. I mean, I've been somewhat complaining about this issue. I think it's a bug in the game. I do. I really do. Snapping's on, so that's pretty even there. Let's go ahead and hit B. We're just going to override that. And I'm going to move this up and try to flatten this out pretty decently here. We're gonna snag right here. And let's make it a little bigger to start. And we'll go past to about right there. Yeah, I think we can go pretty aggressive here with the size of the tool. I don't want to mess up that path though, because we do have that on a route that's being ran by auto drive. Oh, got to move that back. Okay, let's see how we feel about it. It's pretty close to the road, but I think I'm okay with that. We'll smooth this out. Make that hill a little bit more of an incline, and we went kind of into the ground here, which is a problem. That's not gonna work. I think we need to set it back a little bit farther. Well, we didn't have much room. Now let's see if we can fix this. Let's see if we can get it workable. We will need to fix this. Oh man. Okay, so that's close, but we'll grab this right now and fix that. I always do that. I forget that the fields will get damaged. All right, we got that little piece there. We're gonna go fix that field, and then It's just gonna have a little area that we'll have to replant, and we probably will do that right now just to make it so. And how is this? Growth stage 2, so that little area will be a little bit behind. So that'll be 3 in March or in April, and then 4 in May. We'll get a full cut in May. Does that set us up for August? And we should be able to get 3 more cuts this year. Maybe just 2 more though. We might have did the math wrong. We'll find out. Definitely a little more terraforming still to do in that area to make this work. And I think that loop's gonna be okay, though we might need to adjust it, which we totally can. No big issue. All right, allow fields. So that's a little bit off. We're just gonna take a sacrifice here. We're going to lock in when we can and then let go. We're gonna lift. And then there was just a little area here that we needed to fix. So I don't wanna damage as little grass as possible. Make sure we get all of it. There we go. And then we'll come back with the cedar and make that so. And we'll sneak over here and grab a little bit of seed on our way. Now, it's not a direct drill, so it shouldn't ruin anywhere that didn't have grass, just plants where the grass is missing. I said that wrong. It shouldn't ruin anywhere that has grass. Here we go. And getting a state of fertilizer in there. What we'll do is just wait for rolling when we cut to get that second application of fertilizer here. No big deal at all. And that is planted. Now it's time to get that trailer. We're going to take the truck to the store because it's time. We have $91,000 left. This is working out good. So this is still struggling. Got some plans or some decisions to make here soon about that third tractor. It's just not cutting it. Same issue we're having with the other one. So we need a large tractor for that. Yeah, they're on the struggle bus. Let's go move some cattle around. We can get rid of that pasture at this point. And we no longer have to worry about water. So we can sell the little water tank as well after this. We'll have to look over there and see where we can add the manure pit, because that'll be another revenue stream for manure there, or another output for manure. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, so we want to transfer as many as it'll let us. So we'll take the older ones first. Let's move to trailer. 22-month-olds will move to trailer. Then I guess we'll take the 3-month-olds too. And that'll be it. 6 at a time. All right, and we're transferring them out. And for the sake of the video and your enjoyment factor, I'm gonna move the rest and rejoin you. Okay, all the cattle have been moved. See anybody else in this field? So let's go grab this. We're gonna sell it, get $6,000 back. I'm gonna strategically just drop the rollers here. We're gonna use them next month. They should be out of the way right there. And we're gonna grab the mixer. We're gonna get some feed into that new barn. We're gonna then figure out what we're gonna do about a manure pit. We should be able to afford it. Probably drop this hay in the mixer as well. And yeah, and then get some straw over there. And maybe we'll see how money's looking, but we need to figure out that tractor is not gonna work. I mean, I wanna keep the tractor for other work, but it's not gonna actually work for what we're using it for there. So we're gonna look into something else for that. I mean, this tractor works great for it, the case would, but I don't wanna have it sidelined when I'm doing farm work with it. But a third tractor to do actual farm work would be good. Also moving the slurry and milk around, I think that one could handle that. I think it's just too much weight on that trailer. Quite the interesting little setup we have here. It's pretty unique for me, a little different. Gotta get this opened here, and that should work. Why is it not working? Oh, there we go. All right, let's look at this in the enclosure here now. So we do have 33-month, 22-month. I think I want, well, that's getting feed. Let's see, we should be fine right here. Should be flat enough already. So we need to go into silos, and we're gonna grab this. It's not really blocked by an object, it just thinks it is. And we're gonna put it right there. Connected to silo wood with columns. Oh no, is it connected to that as well? Interesting, but we do show manure, so it should start generating manure, but we need straw next for that. But I do want to kind of top them off with some food. So we'll get another one of TMR here. Yeah, we absolutely need to stop the selling of TMR at this point. That's getting sold right now will be the last one we sell. We should have enough to get us through until the next cut, but Just want to be careful. Losing it. We're losing it. We lost it. There we go. That should do her. And then we should be able to just pull right up here and get straw as well. We should have a ton of straw in here. Yeah, 200,000. That should be good for a little bit. So those oats are ready. You know, let's get straw going, but then we could be multitasking for the rest of this chores that I'm doing. We want, the only last thing I think we're going to buy here in March is going to be an upgraded weeder. We're going to take a look at that. So that's going, so we're good. All right, let's look in here. And let's find ours that we have. There it is. Okay, so this one's width is 6. All right, let's go in here. Let's take a look. So this one says that it can do small to medium, or small weeds, which is fine. So this one's 12 meters, which is a significant upgrade, but it also could plant. And then this one needs more horsepower. 250 is what that would require. So I think we'll go with this. We're gonna go ahead and buy it. Then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna sell that. Let's take this with us and we'll go pick up the weeder and we'll have it do the job of the weeding. So we'll get some use out of this tractor still. I guess my question is, why can you plant grass and oilseed radish with a weeder when grass and oilseed radish don't generate weeds? I'm confused, guys. I don't get it. So hopefully this one works. We'll find out next month. We might have to be doing some herbicide, but let's go ahead and let a worker take that over. And like I said, we got a little bit more chores to do here. Let's go ahead and pull forward. We're gonna get some feed for the dairy cattle, and then we need to check their straw level. Let's just give them some straw. It's not gonna hurt anything. Oh, we're low on fuel too. All right, that should be good now. We'll straighten her out. And I don't know why the other one let me drive through it. This one won't. Interesting. But let's hop out and take a look here. It won't. Oh, we got too much stuff in the way. We have 44,000. Yeah, so plenty straw. Food, they're probably good for a little bit. Let's go ahead and drop that. I am going to head in and get some fuel. But before we do that, I want to attach the front loader because I do want to move that hay around. Lots of chores. Yeah, I think we're going to be much happier with that width as long as it does the job, right? At some point, we should fix that corner, too. So that's a little rough. Always need to fill up on diesel. Oh, it's gone. I was going to buy it, guys. It's gone. We waited too long. Oh, that sucks. I wanted to see if we had money left over after all of this purchasing. So what we might do is spend money on cows instead. Slaughterhouse was 179. That is the goal of this video still. And then another plot of land I think was around the same amount. So about 350-ish is what we would want. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how the rest of this year goes. So we're making a ton of money off of cheese now, and we have the soybeans as well that are coming here in the summer to sell. Things are looking good. Let's go ahead and grab as many of these as we can in one go. Probably just be 2 at a time though. Bring them on down to the mixer. Should be about 2,500, which in turn will end up giving us about just under 50,000 liters of TMR. Pretty good. Not gonna be able to take advantage of driving through this much longer once we get planted with the corn in April. Can we reach? We can. Lift a little bit more because they're not wanting to drop. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get the other 3 over here and then we'll see how the weeding's going, but we're gonna buy some cows, I think. I did notice that the maintenance is getting a little rough on this one, so we might head on over, or not might, we're gonna head on over now that we have all of that added and get maintenance done and see where we're sitting, because I think we're gonna start losing some power in this thing here pretty soon, if we haven't already. A little nervous about how much this is gonna cost us, but gotta do it. 11,000, not terrible. All right, let's head on over to the new cattle barn and let's see about buying some more cattle. Let's add to this herd. Let's remember what we have in here with brown Swiss. Is that what we have? We have Angus. Now, if we went with these 18-month ones and bought, let's go with 20. That would be 2. We can't afford that. So we're going to go with 10. We'll just go with that nice round number there. So now we have 36 out of the 150 we can hold in here. And we're going to eventually, we're going to want to get up to that 150 on both of them. I don't remember how many we had over here. Let's go take a look. We have 44 of 150. So that's something we're going to want to start thinking about. Really improving our herd count, which is going to make more milk. It's going to make more beef eventually. Man, guys, I'm addicted right now. I am addicted. We're going to get that weeding finished and get quickly here to April so we can get the corn in the ground and then get to the next cut of grass and quickly get to the harvest of the fields as well. Move a little bit quicker. We got to do the second application of fertilizer. We got a lot to do in April still, and we'll have to do both fertilizer applications to of this field, since we don't have fertilizer on this setup here. So that is set to corn. We're just gonna get this all prepped, and I'm gonna skip time the second that weeding's done. And we're bouncing around a little bit. I'm gonna go grab one of those front weights, or wheel weight, or weights. I guess they're just weights that we have over there, and see if that helps on the front. Yeah, a little back heavy right now. And I know we have two varieties here. What do we have weight-wise? This one is a ton. This one is, oh, they're both a ton. Okay, yeah, that seems much better already. Might just leave that on there for now. That was a little hill that caused that. Still a little bit back heavy, but I think that's much improved. And it looks like they are getting close to doing the headlands on the weeding, so we should be in April momentarily. Okay, happy April, finally. We are going to head on over to the production, the fertilization production, the fertilizer production, and we're gonna get this filled up because we have a lot of fertilizer to do. We're gonna do the field we just planted. We're gonna need to get that fertilized for the second application. We need to plant the corn and then do an application of fertilizer in April and in May on that field. Oh, we haven't fixed this road yet. That's disgusting. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that in a little bit. And then this will be ready in May to cut as well. Both fields will be. So more money coming in soon. We'll check the price of cheese later on today to see if we can sell more, or if we should start holding off. But it might be time to just kind of burn through the calendar a little bit to get to better times when we can make more money. 24,000 available to us, and we didn't need that much, so 14,000 loaded up here. This tractor was a mistake again. I need to slow down. I need to remember we have massive terrain problems, so we need more power than normal. Like, this isn't even gonna go up this hill, is it? I mean, it's handling it at 12, but once it does fertilizer, I think we're gonna get this on slurry. Get the slurry completely moved over to the fertilizer production, and then also probably swap to manure during April. Double check on the milk, see if the dairy production needs that. And gonna do a lot of that off camera because we've been, yeah, do a lot of it off camera because it's all a lot of the same rinse and repeat stuff. So I'll probably rejoin you after we cut the grass in May and give you a report on how much we got out of the yield there, and probably pretty quickly get to the harvest. Well, the selling of the soybeans is definitely something we're going to get to pretty quick. So we'll get this started here, and that means I can hop over here, get started planting. That's good. Lower that, get it activated, and away we go. Getting some more corn in the ground. That's a little fast. Let's drop this down to about 15. All right, guys, I will catch you in a little bit. We made it to June. Soybeans are at a pretty good price here in the morning. This will probably be the only thing that we're gonna do in June, as we are just a month away from our harvest up here, I believe. I'm playing around with trucks or tractors that are doing our deliveries. We did buy one of the Mercedes ones, and it didn't work either. Like, it was actually having an auto drive issue that I think is a bug. Yeah, 4th out of 5 growth stage, so yeah. August we'll be harvesting the oats. But what I've just come to the conclusion is this hill is just so steep, and a lot of the terrain change is so steep, that we're just gonna have to save up money until we can afford something that can actually have a lot more horsepower to handle the terrain and pulling tons and tons of weight. So I think we're progressing good. Right now we have $150,000. I'll show you a little update here in a second, but we did sell a bunch of cheese. I think it was in May. We'll give an update on the grass cut as well. So let's get there, let's get this sold. We got another load after this to do. Should be about another 120 some thousand dollars, but I think at this point, I want to get through some time and save money. Get a nice dollar amount, probably in October-ish. And then at that point, we're going to decide what we're going to do next. Slaughterhouse absolutely coming this year. It's just, can we get some more equipment upgrades to help us out, or are we just going to struggle with what we have? You know, the tractors are working. The John Deere is working. It's just not as quick to get to the delivery point and back as I would like. So not bad. Just got to slow our roll a little bit, make sure we're making wise decisions. All right, selling some soybeans here. Like I said, we'll get this load and the next load sold. And then after that, we'll do a nice update for you guys on everything you missed while I was recording without the camera on. 78 grand from the first load. We're killing it, guys. Second load brought in $33,977, bringing our total to $262,156. Taking a look at some data of what you might miss. This is when I bought the Mercedes there, that negative 95,000. We ended up selling it for $678,000 the next month. So we took a little bit of a loss on that experiment, but we did sell $165,000 worth of cheese to help us out with that. And then you can see $112,000 this month from soybean harvest. Taking a look at the fermenting silo, you can see we have 66,000 liters of silage and 47,000 liters of hay. Those will get distributed over to the feed mixer. Once it's not full and the next hour kicks over, it'll slowly keep getting moved over there. 23,000 here. You can add these two numbers up, and that will be what we still have remaining to process, plus what's going to get moved over from here. And taking a look at time-saving stock check, we do show that we have 228,000 liters of TMR right now, worth $86,000. Lettuce is around $80,000, and cheese is up to $84,000 again. Rocking and rolling. I'm going to get us to July and get going with that harvest. One of the things I am starting to do off camera is pay attention to the amount of milk that we are producing. And so we are not producing enough to keep the cheese factory completely busy at all times. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna buy, let's see how, I am gonna spend a little bit of money here. We're gonna stick with the Holstein. We're gonna go with 10 more of the 18-month-old ones. Actually, let's just go with 20. So right now they do have 38,000 in food. I'll be taking a peek at those numbers and making sure everything's processing the way we expect it. 225, you can see that number of milk in the right corner there. That's what we were producing per hour. We need that up around 400, if not 450, to get us what we need. So I want to see what those 20 do, what they add to it. We did also, if you did notice while we're in there, you might not have, because it might not have showed it. We have 22-month-old ones. So our 29-month-olds here that we have 20 of did all finish reproducing. So they gave us 20 new babies. So we have 22-month-old, we have 8-month-olds, 20 18-month-olds that we just bought. We also have another 8 of those at that age, and then the 20 29-month-olds, and we have 47 that are 47-month-olds. We have 8 of them already. So I'll just be doing a little bit of chores between now and the harvest, and I'll see you then. So really taking the risk of not producing enough TMR, and I think what we're gonna do is not sell it for a little bit until we get some good calculations going. But we're now producing about $350 an hour, so we are gonna buy 20 more. And could have saved $4,000 in that process if we went and picked them up, but I'm not sure if there is a spot. I can't remember. But we're at 104 here, and I didn't notice much of a difference in their production of milk based on their health. It was 350 like right away. So right now we do have 2,800, nice round number. It's gonna hit right there. So it went from 2,800 to 3,275, which gets us pretty close. I think that's a happy place we'll be at. We'll get some of these other cows to get older pretty quick to start producing milk. Well, I guess we're about 4 months away from that. I think 12 months is when they'll start. But getting close here at night, just running some chores going on. We do have this running some milk, so they'll be keeping that production going. I'm actually gonna slow it down a little bit more here because I need to check on the feed. Yeah, the feed's gonna start going down a lot faster, so I'll top them up before the night is over, and I'll probably start doing that right now with the John Deere. It's actually probably the perfect tractor to do this moving forward. It can drive in here, no collision. I think we found a job for the John Deere. We are gonna make one more adjustment here. I think we're gonna sell this and the Brent, and we're gonna get something that can actually take care of everything for us. And then eventually we'll just start doubling down on those trailers. So let's find those in here. So this one we're going to sell. We lost about 20 grand on that, but not too bad. The Brent, we're gonna get another 10,000 back. So that helps fund what we're gonna buy. I think I'm gonna go with the Krone one here. We see in the icons, we get all the crop types. We get silage. We also, as it keeps scrolling over here, we can do manure and we can do TMR. So that is why I wanna go with that one. A little less capacity, but I think it'll be okay. And I think we're fine without the cover. We'll go a little wider on the wheels there, spend a little bit of money. Does drop us below 200,000, but we'll be fine. This will definitely help with the harvest that we're getting ready to do right now. And I'm gonna get the combine going. I'm gonna run harvester for a while, potentially switch over to the grain cart, but been doing a lot doing a lot of auto drive, and gotta be honest with you, I want to do some work myself. And before we get going, just double checking on the productions. The mixer is done and we've moved everything. The dairy, it has 2,000 milk right now, and there should be a load going there right now of another 1,900. So we are keeping this one active just because, like I said, we're barely at, if we even are, at the amount that we need to produce and drop off every hour to keep this thing going. And this is turning into our biggest cash winner. And my plan is, once we're able to produce this to where the milk just starts piling up here, we're gonna get a second one. And maybe even a bigger one. We'll look into that. But boy, I know we're like close to, if not an hour and a half into this video. Let's finally get to a harvest here that's not grass. And away we go. Absolutely need straw dropping. That's the whole purpose of doing this crop type. Oh, it feels good to be harvesting here. Oats do not yield as well as other crops. So, or they're just, it seems to be yielding okay. They just don't pay as well. Like, let's look right now. Yeah, oats peak at 1,800, which isn't bad in December. So we'll get to sell those probably in November. And there's our grain cart operator. But yeah, that'll be able to do manure after we do this harvest. We'll be moving around some manure as well as probably that's about it. But making sure the fertilizer production's going. And if we take a look, like while we're kind of rambling here, time-saving stock check, if we do show all, once we get the selling location for the fertilizer, we're going to make some cash. So we'll put a sells everything sales spot down. That's what we did in Cattle Ranch last time, and it worked out really good for us. Not sure where the operator's going. They'll get here eventually. But let's get focused and enjoy a little bit of a harvest. And just a little more than halfway through the headland, we are full. And we've arrived to unload the harvester. Should be pretty good. Oh yeah, the width is a little questionable with that pipe there, with the header. That's right, I always forget that on this playthrough. But going real good. We'll get this going on auto drive and hopefully they'll help us unload. I think I am gonna do the entire harvest myself unless we start running into issues where I end up stopping to do the grain cart, but we'll see. And we are back at it. See you on the other side. Pretty clean harvest so far. We haven't had to stop, except for the time we unloaded ourselves. Course play and auto drive working pretty seamlessly right now. This one will probably stop at the end and let them unload because we're getting to the shorter passes at the bottom of the field here. Not going to be as much per pass anymore, and it's kind of unnecessary to get unloaded right now. So we might get to the point where we're just going to have to stop because of the size of the turnarounds and the amount of time it takes them to catch up to us. But I think, yeah, starting with 0 on this next pass, I think is a good idea. Let's just stop right here. They're going to get confused, but then they'll catch up. That wasn't too bad, actually. But we do have about 32,000 now. Pretty awesome. Just extra cash. All right. I will see you on the other side. And finishing up the harvest here, we'll get a good number and see how much in oats we're going to make this year. See if they'll give us a read on the trailer this time. They did not. I don't understand. Maybe it's an auto drive thing. That is done. So what we're going to do is send them on their way with their 41,719 liters of oats. Means we can take the harvester in. We probably, most likely, should have done some maintenance beforehand, but maintenance looks pretty good still, so I don't think we're getting a yield loss yet. If we are, it's a tiny amount, and the yield seemed to be pretty good on that last harvest, so we will take it. I think it'll be about $75,000 worth of oats. And we are taking advantage of the multi-fruit silo now. So I think we're going to get rid of the red ones right in front of us because we don't need both sets because the capacity over there is ginormous. But we will put this header away until next year. Next time we'll need it. And you can see we did organize a little bit, but I'm still... Yeah, that's one of the things. We'll probably do that next episode. We'll start getting a little more organized. I do have a long-term plan. This is not going to be a finalized farmyard here. I have a plan that we're going to do eventually. But a lot of other things I want to get to first. We'll go ahead and just park right here. And let's see. Once they drop all those goods, we'll check time-saving stock check. They should be there. Yeah, they're good. They're dropping it now. This should be ready in August. Yes, we're on 3 of 4. And then over here, we have 8,000, so not too many to where we need to move them. I do want to get the refrigeration storage soon. But the rest of July is really going to be moving some manure. And yeah, we're going to use the same trailer for now, but we will get one eventually that is dedicated for it. Need to finish terraforming over here, redecorate still. But this will be huge because it's going to be a lot less trips now that we have this type of capacity in a trailer for the manure. And I did see an upgrade to the slurry trailer that I'm going to want to do. But I'm going to get this delivered. I'll get this detailed up over here so we have grass instead of just the grass texture. And like I said, probably burn through August and keep saving money at this point. And I'll see you when I see you. Well, it is October here and we're getting ready to do our corn harvest. And I noticed one thing. We need to take... Uh-oh, don't drive in there. We need to take care of the fertilizer production because it is at capacity. And we have a little bit of thing to talk about here. We are using the Sell Everywhere mod. And the value... Well, let's just show you. Solid fertilizer peaks at 4,800. Buying 1,000 liters of solid fertilizer is only 1,900. So I did some digging into the mods I was using to see if there's one of the mods that was actually causing that price hike. And everything that I saw was that it's using base game information. Now that there's a sales location, the price of the fertilizer shows up as 4,800. It seems pretty steep. I don't remember what we were making or if I paid enough attention in FS22. And I went back and forth with like deducting money after we make this ridiculous amount of money off of fertilizer. I think we're just going to go with it. I'd love some feedback to let me know if you guys have seen anything similar when you've used a Sells Everything location to be able to sell fertilizer, or if anybody's even done that. I imagine they have because of the amount of mods that are out there, and it is a great way to make money in this game. But it's a little bit more than I was anticipating. And we have a lot of cheese to sell too. It's been piling up. So we do need to relieve the production here. So I did put the sales location just right here, so I didn't have to buy another plot of land to put it on. So let's go ahead and dump this and watch the money skyrocket. One load, $250,000. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's just going to help us expand faster. And we might as well sell the other 8,000 while we're here. We'll produce enough, you know, when we need it. We'll definitely have plenty. But that'll free it up now to be able to produce 60,000 more liters. And this should give us, you know, a ridiculous amount of money for 8,000 fertilizer. We're gonna go with it though. And if anybody does know if it is a mod increasing that price, let me know and we will get that mod removed, or I'll figure out how to adjust it in the mod moving forward. But I spent a good 45 minutes digging into this today and didn't find a solution. and didn't, if that's the way the game's programmed and coded, we're gonna live with it. It just feels a little interesting. And actually, I can get him going and we can just start this harvest now. All right, well, we had so much success with the last one that I want to kind of do this myself as well. Get locked into place here, get some corn harvested for the first time in a long time on the channel. Trying to remember the last time we did corn, and it was probably this playthrough 2 or 3 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago, yeah. Already almost 1,000. This is gonna fill up a lot in this harvest. Let's get her done. Almost around the headland here and at 95%. Let's go ahead and get the call going. With the way the money is producing, we don't harvest a ton, so I haven't really thought about upgrading the combine, but that might be something that's coming too. I mean, seeing that we just pulled in 300-some thousand dollars almost there. And like looking at time-saving stock check, we still have a ton of money to make this episode. I mean, everything you could sell. Oats are at high demand, but not at a high price right now. You can see we're going to get 80,000 from that. TMR, we have about, you know, $250,000. A lot of that's going to have to go to the cattle, but lettuce is almost at 200,000 right now. Cheese is at 322,000. That production is killing it for us. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good. We're going to get to the goals here pretty quick and start expanding to a lot more head of cattle next season for sure. Yeah, the last couple seasons have really been about setting up this amazing revenue stream that we now have. And here she comes to unload the, oh, just a juke move there. Gonna do a looparoo here. Yeah, I've been debating spending the money before the episode's over, and I do think we want to have a payoff at the end of this video. So we will do a pretty good spending session after this harvest. We're gonna get probably, well, we might have one more cut to do of the grass as well. Is that already on phase 3? It is, so we'll have even more TMR. We're killing it. We are killing it. All right, back at it. Lots of ups and downs here coming. It does want us to go north and south here. I am debating switching this to 90 just because of the, oh, nope, that's the offset. Just because of the terrain. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Finish the headland here and start doing the ups and downs, and I guess we set this up for 2 headlands, which is probably fine, but let's get her done. I feel like this harvest is going really good. Our 3rd time unloading already. They're on their way. I did decide to go this direction. Less passes that way. Now that I'm working in this field again, I think this is the bigger of the 2. I don't know why I keep thinking the one up there is bigger. I think the small section that's wider, I think, is what throws me off, but I don't remember. Does this actually tell us land 19.3 acres? There's no way this field's that big. That's got to be the plot. I think we did this before. Yeah, 19.3. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a mod that would help us with that on custom fields, but I don't think that's a thing. So going good though. Super fast harvest here. It's gonna be. We are doing lands on our own. So I did open the middle of the field there. I'm gonna finish this side though, since it's so convenient, and finish this harvest here. Figure out exactly how much money we're gonna have so we can start purchasing some stuff. Being 86% full, the grain car is heading into the silo. So that means we probably got about 50,000 liters there, or close to. Amazing harvest so far. They are struggling. We're gonna buy some land, but bigger equipment, bigger tractors are absolutely coming next season. The hills have been our match here. They've really been our nemesis. Well, with my complete shock at what fertilizer brought in, I forgot that in October the cheese peaked. So it is starting to decline. So after we unload the harvester here, we're going to take a break from the harvest. I'm going to go sell all the cheese that we have. Again, it's going to put us close to 800,000. The money's going to go fast though. It's going to go fast. I'm excited about how much it is, but we got so much money to spend. All right, we're gonna do multiple trips. We have 36,000. There's a lot left, so big money. All right, here's the first load. Bringing in almost 200,000 there. We are at 622. Farm looks pretty good from here. I don't mind it. And just as we're getting the last cheese, we do have the international showing up to add a little bit more milk to the production to keep that big money coming in. 20,000 to go here to sell. I guess it should be exactly half of what we made on the last trip. 108. Well, I guess a little bit more there. Not sure where my math was off, but yeah, so we're at $731,000. Let's head on back, get this harvest finished. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and sell these. Just a little bit of extra cash. We don't need those. We'll improve the terrain later on. Just get the truck out of the way for now, and I will see you when this harvest is complete and we know the number that we made from the harvest. Man, I think I've learned a lot about this game and terrain in this playthrough. Horsepower is so important. Large tractors moving forward for sure. But this is the last bit dropping off, 26,000. This is only the second time we've been here. Thought we were gonna get close to 100,000 liters of corn, but we did get 73,000. And time-saving stock check tells us that'll be $111,000 worth of corn. All right, just got some chores to do and get to the point where things are good to sell. Oh, we got to cut the grass one more time. We're gonna do that off camera. We'll get beyond that and we'll rejoin you. Well, money looks a little different, but let's go ahead and we're gonna grab both of our 30-month-olds. We're going to put them in here, move to the trailer, and we're gonna head up north. Money does look a little bit different than last time I was with you. We did buy a new tractor. We'll take a look at that soon. It is delivering TMR right now. We've got the selling process started. I think we might see the dollar amount go up a little bit here. We also have the case, the Puma, on moving milk around. Oh, there goes the money right now. Should get another 19,000 for each trip, I believe is what we're bringing in. We're gonna do a decent amount of trips. They're 19,500, but you can see a new building in the distance. We've got the slaughterhouse. And the terrain over here, it's a little more rough than I thought it was. We should have probably gone that side with it, but we'll see. This area is going to get redesigned. Everything is in a temporary spot right now until we can buy the property behind us. Get a little bit closer here. We should be able to drop off these cattle. And we want to move to the butcher shop. And now let's take a look at what's going on here. Larson's Loyal Livestock. But in the production, it is called a butcher shop, and we want to activate cattle. I did try to test this earlier. It looks like we're gonna get 1 liter per, and it's gonna take 2 to produce 1,000 beef. And for what I've seen so far, it doesn't matter their age, we're getting the same amount. So we can see the output coming here. Well, it says 1,000. We'll see what it actually does when it gets done. And we should see that before the end of today's episode, so that's exciting. I'm guessing we're gonna get 2 pallets of beef. Let's head back. We're gonna do a lot of selling right now. Not necessarily gonna show a lot of that on camera, but some of the bulk items we will. We'll do the TMR in the background. When we get to the grain, we might do that on camera, but we got a lot of purchasing left to do. And let's take a look at that new tractor now. Anybody surprised we got the Magnum? The 340. Haven't done any upgrades on it yet. We will be doing that later on. We might get multiples of these. We might mix in some big John Deere tractors, but large tractors moving forward. I do want to get a couple of these trailers, but we'll have to deal with what we have for now. So we're gonna do some selling, make sure the animals are taken care of, and taking a look at time-saving stock check. We've got a lot of money. What we're not gonna sell right now because we're gonna wait for prices to be good. The cheese was just gonna pile up. Lettuce, we're probably gonna go and do that at the beginning of next episode, but to make some money, TMR we're gonna sell, the oats we're gonna sell, we'll sell some fertilizer again, and we'll also sell the corn, and probably the beef when we get to it. So, I will see you guys in a little bit. Well, we did do another, I skipped this part. We did another cut of grass, and it's already being produced into hay and silage and moved over to the mixer. 11,000 already gone over here and produced 44,000, so going good. Another good day on the farm, and I don't believe we have any milk to pick up anymore. So now I'll see you guys in a little bit. It is December. We have 19,000 liters of fertilizer we're gonna start selling here. I do have a dollar amount that I am targeting, and I'm hoping we get there. We should be good. Oats are at a good price too. Right after we sell this, we're gonna head down and grab the oats, get them sold. And then I think a little bit of time needs to pass so we can sell the corn, but we do have a little bit of beef over there that we're gonna sell as well. So the last things we're gonna do, we're gonna get the oats sold, we're gonna sell the beef, and then we're gonna get it to where corn's a little bit of a better price, and I think that's gonna give us enough for my goals for this episode. I mean, we did hit all the goals technically. All the goals got hit. We got the slaughterhouse. But my stretch goals are about to get hit too. And we are headed to the farmers markets with our 40-some thousand liters of oats. All right, here we are selling the oats. That's nice to see the money go up that fast right now. A little over $750,000 is what I'm targeting. We're at 663 after making $81,000 on the oats. Let's sell some beef. It's our first time getting a look at these pallets here. Some decent light on there. These are pretty nice. Well done. I did find this on one of the random websites. I think it was King's Mod, just called Slaughterhouse. So let's see where we're selling this. Looks like we're headed back to the farmer's market. So it looks like whatever number we get here, we can divide by 4. And I think next episode, we're going to figure out if it's profitable to buy from the animal dealer and just send straight to the slaughterhouse. And if that's a profitable business model, we might just do that and start making a massive amount of beef. But we'll do those calculations next episode. And you can see we did pass some time. Corn's at should be a good enough price now. But there we go, 15,396. Just need a little over $100,000 right now. I mean, we have things to sell too, but I'm leaving this in a way that in January of next episode, we're gonna be able to sell a lot of cheese, we're gonna be able to sell a lot of lettuce and get some upgrades to help with what I'm about to purchase right now. But we gotta sell the corn first. So it's interesting seeing this, even with this big tractor that has over 300 horsepower. Like I said, these hills are just an issue. So nothing we tried earlier was gonna work. We're still dropping down to 10. I bet it goes down to 9 before we get up there. Held strong at 10 miles an hour. I do need to get the mod installed that'll show me the weight. I have a feeling this is a ridiculous amount of tonnage here that we're trying to pull uphill, so not bad. But that's about as best as we're gonna get until we can afford to do a full semi-trailer setup, and then I think that's even gonna struggle up that massive hill too, and this one too. That's a good angle to show you how steep it actually is. Lots of terrain on this. Like it doesn't, just glancing at it, it looks semi-flat, but it's nowhere near it. This direction gives a good view of that too. That's gorgeous. We've done good over there. And the first load of corn getting sold. We're at 750, so the next little bit of corn that we're gonna go back and get should give us enough money for me to go on a nice, quick spending spree. Last selling event of year 7 of Cattle Ranch here, season 4. Oh, it's selling it slow. Why did that change? That's silly. All right, we're gonna send this home to do a job while we do something in the background here. All right, we're jumping in the map. We've got the money secured. 14, we're gonna buy. 29, we're gonna buy. 12, it's kind of a waste, but we're gonna buy. 28, we're gonna buy. So right now I need 30 and 40, well, just 30, I guess. So we just need one more plot. Well, we kind of need 42 for this sliver. So I guess we'll be buying this one as well. So we have 2 plots of land left to buy. 33 as well. And then probably 17, but we'll get into those plans later on. I want to leave you by building the outline of the new grass field. So let's get the cultivator. We're gonna do the outline. We're gonna look at it. We're not gonna actually fill it in this episode. We will do that in January as we prep for our new massive grass field, but I wanna see how big it's gonna be. When this is done, 2 tractors cutting the grass at the same time might not be enough. It's getting darker early here in December too. All right, let's go ahead, lower this. We are gonna, fields were already enabled. So we'll go ahead and just keep pulling forward. Try not to hug the road too much. I was hoping for a little bit more daylight when we did this, but this will be fine. And let's build this outline. quite massive. We're gonna hop in the sky here. That's gonna be glorious. Oh my goodness, what did we do? That is one big field. We'll get it cultivated up next episode and eventually get a decent view of what we're gonna do over here as well, where this will be one massive field that follows the original roads of Comlands here. Be right around there. So a pretty good grass field. We're gonna do away with this one and expand the farmyard this way. And eventually I do want at least one more plot back here to really industrialize this area before we call this all said and done. Pretty awesome season, a cattle ranch if you ask me. Let me know what you guys think or thought, and I'll catch you on the next episode.